One of them designed the most famous pair of shorts in TV history. Another was a backup singer for Bob Dylan, and one served in the Marines before becoming a comedy legend. 35 actresses who ruled 70s and 80s television, then and now. Joan Collins was already a Hollywood star when Dynasty came calling, and her arrival as Alexis Carrington single-handedly saved the show from cancellation. She turned villainy into high art. At 92, Collins remains the definition of timeless glamour, still commanding every room she walks into. Mary Tyler Moore proved a single, independent woman could carry a primetime show and change television forever. Behind the iconic smile, she battled personal tragedy and type 1 diabetes for decades. Moore passed away in 2017, but her legacy as TV's first modern woman lives on. Angela Lansbury made Jessica Fletcher one of TV's most beloved characters, solving crimes for 12 seasons on Murder, She Wrote. Incredibly, she never won an Emmy despite 12 nominations. Lansbury passed away in 2022 at 96. That's a legend who never needed an award to prove it. Farrah Fawcett became the face of the 70s. Her red swimsuit poster sold 12 million copies, making it the best-selling poster in history. She left Charlie's Angels after just one season. Fawcett passed away in 2009. Her brave cancer battle documented in a powerful final film. Victoria Principal played Pamela Ewing on Dallas for 9 seasons, then shocked everyone by walking away at the peak of the show's success. She built a multi-million-dollar skincare empire instead. Now 76, Principal lives an intensely private life, rarely seen in public. Betty White was originally cast as Blanche on The Golden Girls, but producers swapped her to Rose, creating TV Gold. Her career spanned over 80 years, the longest in television history. White passed away in 2021, just 17 days before her 100th birthday. Suzanne Summers became America's sweetheart as Chrissy on Three's Company, then got fired for demanding a raise equal to her male co-stars. She turned that setback into a business empire worth over $100 million. Summers passed away in 2023, a true survivor to the end. Sybil Shepherd was already a supermodel and movie star before moonlighting made her a TV sensation. Her on-screen chemistry with Bruce Willis was electric, but off-screen, their legendary feud nearly destroyed the show. Now 76, Shepherd remains as unapologetically outspoken as ever. Loretta Swit brought fire and heart to Major Hot Lips Houlihan on MASH for all 11 seasons. She wanted to leave for her own series, but the network wouldn't release her. Now 88, Swit has dedicated her life to animal welfare. A quieter but passionate second act. Shelley Long won an Emmy as Diane Chambers on Cheers, then left the hit show for a movie career that never quite happened. It's often called one of television's biggest what-ifs. Now 76, Long works steadily but far from the spotlight she once commanded. Carol Burnett owned Saturday nights for 11 years with her legendary variety show. That signature ear tug at the end of every episode? It was a secret message to her grandmother watching at home. At 92, Burnett is still performing, the undisputed queen of television comedy. Heather Locklear pulled off something rare, starring on both T.J. Hooker and Dynasty at the same time, then later dominating Melrose Place. She was the most in-demand actress of her era. Now 64, Locklear has battled personal struggles but recently re-emerged looking radiant. Susan Dey stole hearts as Laurie on The Partridge Family and had a real off-screen crush on co-star David Cassidy that was never returned. She later won a Golden Globe for L.A. Law. Now 73, Dey is one of Hollywood's most reclusive former stars. Valerie Harper made Rhoda Morgenstern the funny best friend everyone wanted, then carried her own hit spin-off. In 2013, she was told she had 3 months to live. True to form, Harper defied the odds of fighting for 6 more years before passing in 2019. Judith Light went from daytime soaps to primetime fame as Angela on Who's the Boss. But her real triumph came decades later, winning 2 Tony Awards and earning acclaim on Transparent. Now 77, Light is proof that the best act can come last. Before Maude, before the Golden Girls, Bea Arthur served in the United States Marine Corps during World War II. She brought that same toughness to every role. Her deadpan delivery could silence a room. Arthur passed away in 2009, forever the sharpest wit on television. Melissa Gilbert grew up on television as Laura Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie, but real life was far less wholesome. She battled addiction, went through painful divorces, and even ran for Congress. Now 61, Gilbert lives quietly on a farm, her own little house at last. Jane Seymour captivated audiences in the miniseries East of Eden and later became America's beloved frontier doctor on Dr. Quinn. Off-screen, a near-death experience profoundly changed her outlook on life. Now 75, Seymour is also an accomplished painter and still impossibly elegant. Dixie Carter played the fiercely liberal Julia Sugarbaker on Designing Women, but in real life, she was a proud conservative. The role's famous political speeches were a constant irony. Married to actor Hal Holbrook, Carter passed away in 2010, leaving a legacy of sharp Southern charm. Before playing Peggy Bundy on Married with Children, Katie Sagal was a backup singer for Bob Dylan and Bette Midler. She later reinvented herself as a biker matriarch on Sons of Anarchy. Now 72, Sagal proves that reinvention is its own kind of talent. Candice Bergen. She made Murphy Brown so influential that Vice President Dan Quayle attacked the character in a real political speech. After winning 5 Emmys, she withdrew herself from contention to give others a chance. Now 79, Bergen remains as witty and elegant as ever. Lonnie Anderson became TV's ultimate blonde bombshell as Jennifer on WKRP in Cincinnati, a role that made her an instant pinup. Her marriage to Burt Reynolds became one of Hollywood's messiest public divorces. Now 80, Anderson lives quietly, far from the tabloid chaos that once defined her. Catherine Bach didn't just play Daisy Duke on The Dukes of Hazzard. She actually designed those iconic shorts herself, creating a fashion phenomenon that still bears her character's name. Now 72, Bach stepped away from the spotlight but remains a beloved pop culture icon. Morgan Fairchild was the glamorous villain TV couldn't get enough of. From Flamingo Road to dozens of primetime guest spots, she played scheming beauties like no one else. Off-screen, she surprised everyone as a passionate tech advocate. Now 76, Fairchild is still turning heads wherever she goes. Barbara Eden made television history as Jeannie, but network censors wouldn't let her show her belly button on screen. That tiny act of absurd censorship only made her more iconic. Now 94, Eden is still active and still has that unmistakable sparkle. Sharon Gless wasn't the first choice for Cagney and Lacey. She was the third actress to take the role. But once she arrived, she made it completely her own, winning 2 consecutive Emmys. Now 82, Gless is living proof that sometimes the replacement becomes the legend. Peggy Lipton was a counterculture icon on the Mod Squad, then walked away from Hollywood to raise her daughters with Quincy Jones, one of them being actress Rashida Jones. She returned decades later in Twin Peaks. Lipton passed away in 2019, a true free spirit to the end. Erin Moran. Danny charmed America as Joni Cunningham on Happy Days, but life after the show was heartbreakingly different. She struggled with financial ruin and personal demons, eventually losing her home. Moran passed away in 2017 at just 56, a painful reminder that fame doesn't guarantee a happy ending. Mackenzie Phillips was a teenage star on One Day at a Time before addiction derailed everything. She was fired from the show twice. Years later, she made shocking revelations about her father, musician John Phillips. Now 66, she works as a drug counselor, turning her pain into purpose. Jean Stapleton played the seemingly meek Edith Bunker on All in the Family. But in real life, she was fiercely intelligent and nothing like her character. She won 3 Emmys, then deliberately walked away to avoid being typecast forever. Stapleton passed away in 2013. Felicia Rashad set the standard for TV mothers as Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show. Elegant, brilliant, and no nonsense. She later became the first Black woman to win a Tony for Best Actress in a Play. Now 77, Rashad serves as dean at Howard University, shaping the next generation. Katherine Helmond was a master of comedy, first as the wonderfully unhinged Jessica Tate on Soap, then as the man-hungry Mona on Who's the Boss. 2 iconic roles, 2 completely different characters, same brilliant timing. Helmond passed away in 2019, underrated to the very end. Stephanie Powers and Robert Wagner were one of TV's greatest duos on Heart to Heart. Off-screen, the love of her life was William Holden, whose sudden death devastated her. She honored him by continuing his wildlife work in Kenya. Now 83, Powers still carries that mission forward. Jacqueline Smith was the only original Angel to stay for the entire run of Charlie's Angels, loyal to the end. She built a hugely successful fashion line for Kmart that lasted 3 decades. Now 80, Smith is often called the most beautiful angel, and it's hard to argue.